And I believe we're live, so let's get this thing going in 3, 2, 1. This is Life is Leet, episode 13 for Saturday, April 12, 2014. Hello everyone, welcome back to Life is Leet. This is a podcast of nerds yelling at microphones about things. I am Jesse Hanna, and joining me today over Skype this time because we're doing things a little differently, seeing how it works. Anyway, joining me as always is my co-host and younger brother Aaron. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Hey, I got a new microphone now.
Woo!
Yay! Now hopefully it won't sound crappy.
Yep. Well,
not that I know. I haven't actually listened to any of the previous episodes.
Well, yeah. But we're trying, like I said, we're trying some different things out. We're talking over Skype, and then we're still live streaming this on YouTube. So any of you who are watching this on YouTube, it's the exact same place. We're just not using Google Hangouts because trying to deal with all the audio levels and whatnot with Google Hangouts messing with things afterwards was a total pain. So I decided, hey, let's try something else out for a change. So that's what we're doing. So we'll see how this goes. It will probably all crash and burn in the end anyway, because that's what tends to happen. But whatever.
Always.
Let's do it live, and let's get right into it this week with, as always, games. All right, so I haven't had much time for games this week. It's been a busy heck of a week between work and school, but I have gotten some time in on Hearthstone on my iPad. That was still a terrible decision on my part to install that, but I've been enjoying it. I'm working my way in ranked play. I'm up to 17 or 18, I think. Did have a few interesting games in just unranked play this week, though, doing dailies. One day, one of the dailies was to win a couple of games as mage or some other class, I forget which. So I played the mage deck that I have, which only uses basic cards. I got the deck list from Icy Veins, their Hearthstone guides, and it's their mage basic deck, which only uses cards from the basic set that you unlock by leveling up that class. And in 2 games using that deck, I beat a rogue and a shaman that were both using cards from the expert set, and both of them had and played at least one legendary card each from their deck. And I still won against both of those decks, again, using just a mage deck with the basic cards. And then another day, actually this was just yesterday, I was playing the paladin basic deck against a paladin that was using expert cards. And I got as far down as 3 health, so I had 3 health. My opponent was in the 20s, but because I was able to get more minions on the board, so I was able to get board control, and I had card advantage, more cards in my hand and on the field. I was able to force him to surrender because he would have had no way to keep me from taking him out.
Wow.
So those were a fun couple of games that I had this week in Hearthstone. But other than that, I've had really no time for gaming at all this past week. What about you, Aaron? You played much this week?
All I've been playing is Bravely Default. I'm determined to see this game through to the end.
And how is it? How far are you? You're probably
I'm
ahead
like
of
in the
me
6th chapter.
Yeah,
but the latter half of the game is where it kind of starts getting repetitive. So
yeah,
not a whole lot to talk about at that point.
That's what I had heard too. You're further ahead than I am now. I'm still in chapter 4, I believe. It's been a little while since I've played, and I've been meaning to pick it back up, but again, I just haven't had the time. But yeah, I had heard that the second half of the game, especially getting towards the later part of the game, is where it
really kind of drags,
where it starts to slow down, get repetitive. But
it's still fun. I like it. It's
yeah.
It's at that one really. It's at that one part where it kind of feels a lot slower than the rest of it is.
Yeah.
We're up on like 60 hours though, which is something.
Yeah, that's not too shabby for a game to be able to get that much gameplay. So yeah, I'll hopefully be able to get back into that this week and play some more of that. Uh, but in the meantime, that pretty much covers what we've been playing this week. So let's move on to news. And it's just as well that we didn't have much time to play stuff this week because there's a ton of news.
And this first item is a pretty big one.
Oh
to
yes,
say.
go for
It's
it.
huge.
You want to take it?
Sure. So on the 8th of April, which was Tuesday, there was a Super Smash Bros. 4 Nintendo Direct presentation, and it showed off a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. We have a link to the actual video in the show notes, as well as a news post just summarizing everything. But out of that, we got 5 new playable characters, which there are 4 of them that are returning. Yoshi from the Yoshi games, which is a subset of the Mario series. Sheik, who is from the Zelda games. Zero Suit Samus, who is from Metroid, who originally appeared in the previous Smash Brothers. Charizard, again, also from the previous Smash Brothers. And one newcomer who is Greninja, whose reveal trailer is up on YouTube, and we have a link to that in the notes as well, which is it's pretty cool. Just this trailer, it's so beautiful.
Now, was Charizard an actual playable like hero character in previous games? Okay,
but it was under the Pokemon
yes,
character guides of the Pokemon trainer, who also used Squirtle and Ivysaur, but they decided to nix the trainer altogether in this game and just go straight with Charizard, which is fine by me.
Yeah, the trainer was an interesting concept, though, where he doesn't do much fighting himself. He brings out different Pokemon. That was an interesting concept. I guess it just didn't work out as well as they'd liked.
I think part of the reason why they did that is because any characters that have the power to like transform, they're getting rid of those transformation powers and just making those characters completely separate. That's why Sheik and Zero Suit Samus are completely different characters now. It's because they were originally transformations, but now they decided to nix that idea.
Right.
So Charizard is now on his own, so that we don't have to memorize like 3 different move sets on one character, which is nuts.
Yeah, that is one drawback of that type of character, is that you have to memorize a whole bunch of different a whole bunch of different sets of abilities. But anyway, it is definitely an interesting couple of choices. I'm looking forward to Greninja personally. That's one of my favorite Pokemon from the latest generation.
That was the last newcomer I was expecting from Pokemon. I don't know what else I would have been expecting, but
yeah, well, when you think about it, it does kind of make sense. It's a ninja, so
yeah. They revealed not the release dates, but the release window for both 3DS and Wii U version. It's coming out in the summer for the 3DS and in the winter for Wii U, which may sound odd that the 3DS is coming out first, but I think the Wii U version is coming out in the winter just for the hey, it's a Christmas present excuse.
Probably trying to boost holiday sales of
that's always when you get the most sales out of anything,
right?
Let's see. The 3DS version, for technical stuff, the 3DS version is going to run at a 60 frames per second with the stereoscopic 3D effect, which, whatever.
That's pretty good, though, because I remember the problems that a lot of people complained about with Pokemon X and Y with the frame rate with the 3D on. So for them to be able to squeeze 60 frames a second out of it with the 3D on, that's going to be pretty neat to see.
And then the 3DS version also has an exclusive game mode, which is called Smash Run, which it has up to 4 players in a dungeon, and they have 5 minutes to explore and collect power-ups and items. And then at the end of the 5 minutes, they enter an arena and battle with those said power-ups and items. And it's kind of similar to, I believe Masahiro Sakurai, the game director, said that it was familiar to a certain game mode from like Kirby's Air Ride. Don't remember what it was, but he said that he that it was similar to a game mode in a game that he made previously. So I guess that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
We don't know if the Wii U version is going to have something similar or not.
that sounds pretty neat though. That sounds like a fun game mode. I'm definitely going to check that out.
And then stage variety, because what's a fighting game without stages?
Of course.
Wii U, the stages for each version, the Wii U stages are similar to have stages that are based off of different console games. So, for example, you have like a Metroid stage, you know, well, for example, you have, well, yeah, just for an example, you have a Metroid stage on the, you have a Metroid and a Mega Man stage on the Wii U version, and then the 3DS version has like a Donkey Kong stage and a Pokemon stage, just as an example.
Right. Well, there's the what's it? Prism Tower from
Yeah,
Lumio City.
yeah,
That looks like it's probably going to be my favorite stage. It may be because I'm kind of a Pokemon fanboy, but
hang on, I'm looking this up. It's bothering me that I don't know what the stages are.
that's fine. No worries.
To Smash Wiki we go,
Yep. Well,
because wikis are the best thing.
Well, to fill in while you're looking that up, some of the stages are going to also have a boss character. For example, in the Dr. Wily's base stage, there will be the Yellow Devil, which the boss character will, I think it'll just pop up randomly, and
Yeah.
everyone will be fighting that and each other at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And then
And then there are of course during the direct it was also hinted that Ridley from Metroid might be a boss character on the Metroid stage, which
very
considering there are a
nice.
lot of people who want Ridley playable for whatever reason.
well, that's,
Those of you who don't know what Ridley is, who Ridley is. He's basically this giant flying lizard thing. And apparently people want him as a playable character.
well, that
Some reason, even though it wouldn't make much sense in context. 'Cause-
yeah. Well, that does still sound interesting, though. And then also most stages, which Aaron, you still looking those up?
I found a list of them already.
Okay, well, most stages are going to have also a final destination form, which is a form similar to that of obviously the famous Final Destination stage from Smash Bros, which is with no platforms,
No
or
platforms,
items
no
or
nothing.
power
It's
ups.
just completely flat.
Yep, just straight melee combat. So Aaron, you got the list of some of the stages that are going to be in these games?
Yeah, like for example, 3DS exclusive stages will be like, oh, Tortimer Island from Animal Crossing, or the Prism Tower from Pokemon, or Arena Ferox from Fire Emblem. And then Wii U exclusive stages will be like Mario Galaxy from, take a wild guess.
Well, yeah,
There's a Pilot Wing stage in the Wii U version. There's a pretty long list of stages. We're gonna have a link to the wiki page in the show notes for
yeah, go
all
ahead.
this information.
Go ahead and drop that in there. So yeah, we'll have a link to that, a whole bunch of the stages, the list of the stages in the show notes. A few more things that were announced that are going to be part of these games. There is going to be online play, which is something people have been clamoring for a long time. You can only play online against people who are on the same platform, so only 3DS versus 3DS, Wii U versus Wii U, and that should be kind of obvious. And there are going to be two different modes. One of them is for fun, which is on random stages with all items and power-ups available, and then also for glory, which uses what I mentioned before, the final destination variations of the different stages. And it'll have no platforms, no items, no power-ups, just straight melee combat. Entirely, I guess the idea of it is that it entirely depends on each player's skill, and not whether or not they can get the Mallet of Poning.
Yes.
I have to admit though, I do kind of love the Mallet of Poning. It's
Just that sound effect it makes. Or however it
yeah,
goes.
yep, that's
You need
exactly
to
how
find
it
a
goes.
soundbite of that and put it in the soundboard.
I really do. I'm kind of disappointed that I don't have it. I've got this. This almost works.
The key? Robot arms.
It's kind of a robot arm.
What?
You want to hear that again?
Maybe.
The key? Robot arms.
That's Veronica Belmont.
Can I get some context, please?
No, you can't, because I don't know the context, and because you don't really need it, because all you need to know is robot arms.
Okay.
And anyway, that's a clip of Veronica Belmont, and that was from that Scott Johnson uses that clip on his shows all the time. But I say that because the Mallet of Poning kind of looks like a robot arm. Now, why am I saying robot instead of robot? I don't even know. Let's move on. Let's get past that. Anyway, online play. Back to online play for the Smash Bros. Games. That's what we were talking about, right? Right.
I think so.
Anyway, there's For Fun mode, which is random stage, everything available. For Glory, which is Final Destination versions of stages. No platforms, no items, nothing.
Fox only. Final Destination.
And when you're playing online with friends, you'll have full customization of what stages are available, what rule sets to use, what items and power-ups are available. Or you can jump into random play with random strangers online, which will have preset stage sets and rules and whatnot. So they're really putting a lot of effort into this and making it so that you can play whatever way would be most fun for you. I'm glad that they're finally adding online play to a Smash Bros. Game.
Well, they had online play in Brawl, but it wasn't super popular with a lot of people.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but it really looks like they're putting in the proper effort to make these games have proper online multiplayer. As always, with the Smash Brothers games, there are going to be the usual sets of collectibles. You can collect items and assist trophies, and these will all show up in your trophy case in the game. And there are also Pokemon that you can collect, and something that is being added, are Master Balls containing legendary Pokemon. So that's going to be interesting to see.
To clarify, items and assist trophies and Pokeballs are all items that you use in battle, and then for actual collectibles, they're actual trophies
that
make up a collection. Assist trophies are just little characters that when you use an assist trophy, they do special things for you or something like that.
Yep. Well, so of course they're bringing those back and expanding on those. There are going to be features linking both platforms. Like I said, with online play, that's only between people on the same platform, but there will be features linking the two.
We don't know them yet.
They just haven't been announced yet, right? And when you're playing either locally or online with friends, you'll be able to create custom moves, which that's going to be really interesting and a lot of fun. I mean, obviously you couldn't have that in just random online multiplayer because it would be way unbalanced, but that looks like something that would be a lot of fun if you're just messing around with your friends in the game. So anyway, yeah, again,
that's it.
Smash
Bros.
Yep, we'll have a link to the full Nintendo Direct presentation in the show notes, and a link to an article on Crunchyroll that kind of summarizes the stuff that we talked about here. But yeah, I'm excited for it too. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Let's move on. There's one more bit of Nintendo-related news. The Pokemon Black and White Super Music Collection is now available on iTunes after, I believe it was last month, which was it? Ruby and Sapphire that came out? Diamond and Pearl, that's right. That's the one that came out last month. And then I think it was Ruby and Sapphire before that. But we've now got the Black and White Super Music Collections. They are, it's one album. It's $9.99 on iTunes, same price as all the others. 173 tracks totaling just under 4 hours. So I believe that's the longest one that's been released so far. And the Black 2 White 2 Super Music Collection will be coming later this year. So keep an eye out for that, and we will tell you on this show, of course, when that comes out. Moving on now to some Blizzard news. This weekend, obviously, is PAX East, and Blizzard are there. They have a whole bunch of things there. They have Heroes of the Storm demos. They have World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor demos, and they also have Hearthstone iPad demos, and they made a pretty big announcement that's expanding on something that they announced at BlizzCon but hadn't given any more details on. Well, I believe it was on Friday at PAX East, Blizzard announced the first adventure mode for Hearthstone. It will be called Curse of Naxxramas, and it'll be coming out sometime this summer. And it's going to be a single-player campaign type of thing. A lot of people are thinking it'll probably be a lot like the tutorial introduction to the game where you play against a series of NPC characters. And it'll be based, obviously, on the World of Warcraft raid dungeon of the same name, the Naxxramas raid dungeon. There will be 5 wings within the Curse of Naxxramas adventure, and each one will feature, of course, bosses from the WoW raid. There will be a unique game board for games played within Naxxramas that uses the look and feel of the WoW dungeon. And each wing will become available in successive weeks. So when the adventure first launches, Wing 1 will be available, and that one will be free. And then each week after that, a new wing will be released. And those will be purchasable either with real money or with in-game gold that you earn. When you play your way through adventure mode, you'll be able to unlock 30 new cards that will be available, and those will be cards that you can add to your deck for play mode. And some of the cards, we'll have a link in the show notes to an article on battle.net that has a preview of some of the cards, and some of them look pretty awesome. One of them is a legendary card, Baron Rivendare, and its effect is that minions with Death Rattle, when that Death Rattle is triggered, it'll happen twice. So there are some pretty powerful Death Rattles. Like another legendary, I believe it's Bane Bloodhoof, has his Death Rattle is that when he dies, he summons a card, Cairn Bloodhoof, with basically the same stats. So if you have a deck that has both Bane Bloodhoof and Baron Rivendare, then if Bane Bloodhoof dies before Baron Rivendare, then you get 2 Cairn Bloodhoofs. So that's pretty powerful.
That's kind of hacks. Not gonna lie.
That's
almost as hacks as the I Know Kung Fu video.
That video that we had a couple weeks ago, that was pretty awesome. But yeah,
hacks.
Double Death Rattle equals very yes. I'm looking forward to that. And again, there are a bunch of cards, and some of them are in the preview post of this adventure pack that is on the Hearthstone website. So we'll have a link to that. Oh, and also there will be some class challenges within Naxxramas that will earn you class-specific card rewards. So you can either unlock the rewards for all the classes, which is what I'll probably do, or just for the class that is your favorite to use in play mode. But so there are a whole bunch of different goodies that you can unlock and earn in this. And again, that will be coming out sometime this summer. And Blizzard also announced that the worldwide release of the iPad version of Hearthstone will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Of course, they released it last week in the Australia, New Zealand, and Canada iTunes stores. And a lot of companies do that when they release a new app. They release it just in a few smaller markets first for testing, and then do the worldwide launch afterwards. So again, we'll keep an eye out on that, and that should be coming in the next couple of weeks for everyone.
You won't have to make a Canadian iTunes account to get it.
Yep. Well, that's the idea, is that once they do the worldwide release, you won't have to do workarounds of questionable legality to be able to get it. But again, if you ever want to get anything else ever done ever again, don't do it. Do not put Hearthstone on your iPad if you ever want to do anything else ever again.
It is yet another selfless in it. Self. What was the term? Gosh darn it.
I don't know.
Selfless enabler.
Shameless enabler.
Shameless enabler. There we go.
Something like that. So anyway, there's that, and of course they've been the Blizzard have also been putting out bits and pieces of information on Warlords of Draenor. They had a couple of Artcraft blog posts over the past couple of weeks featuring some more of the new character models. They've been putting out a little bit more information at a time on things like garrisons. The alpha right now is still kind of under NDA, unlike the Heroes of the Storm alpha, which is entirely open. But we're probably getting kind of close. I'd guess in the next month or so maybe is when we'll see more information about, at least more information about when the beta for Warlords of Draenor will be coming. So we'll talk more about that when there's, well, obviously more to talk about.
Yep.
And I think this one is the last item of news this week. We mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Borderlands 2 would be coming to the PlayStation Vita, and it would be coming along with the American release of the new, slimmer model of the PS Vita. Well, we now have a release date for both of those. The Borderlands 2 bundle containing the slimmer Vita, which has a new LCD, longer battery life, a gig of internal memory, and the bundle which comes with that, the Vita version of Borderlands 2, and an 8GB memory card. That is going to be coming out on May 6th, and the price of the bundle will be $200. And then a week later, on May 13th, is when the standalone game will be coming out for Vita. And the game, like we said, will contain 6 DLC packs that are available in...
No, yeah, 6. Sorry.
6, yeah. 6 DLC packs that are available for the PC and console versions. So yeah, I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to get that, because I have the old Vita, or the current model Vita, and I've also got Borderlands 2 on my PC. So still debating whether or not I'm going to get this, but that's definitely a pretty good deal. So again,
there is no shame in owning in getting 2 copies of it, though.
Well, yeah,
it's a pretty great game.
A really good game is worth owning on multiple platforms. So I may get it. We'll see. But again, the Borderlands 2 Vita bundle will be coming out on May 6th for $199.99, and then the Borderlands 2 game on its own for Vita will be coming out 1 week later. And I believe I think it'll be $40. That seems to be the standard price for Vita games, either $35 or $40. I don't know if we know that for sure yet, but I'll keep an eye out for that, and we'll let you know when that comes out. And if either of us get and play it, we'll obviously make sure to review it on here. That pretty much covers everything for video games. So let's move on now to anime. Let me get the right soundboard up. There we go. And anime. Okay, Aaron, what have you been watching this week? Let's start with you this time.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that we start with me, because you got a lot of stuff.
Yep.
But I've just been watching same stuff. Bleach, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which part 2 came out yesterday, so I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that before recording this, actually.
So have you already started the series that's being
simulcasted? Yeah.
Yeah, simulcast this season.
Yeah.
So you didn't wait and then watch them in order?
No.
Well,
why would I?
I haven't. I generally like to watch things in the proper order, I guess you could say. I haven't had time yet to start watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but
yeah, but the individual parts of the show are
they're
Or
fairly
really,
standalone.
you don't need to watch the previous stuff in order to understand what the heck is going on. It just has a little bit of background tied to it.
They each stand pretty well on their own.
They stand pretty well on their own. It's just they all sort of interconnect in some way, but it doesn't affect too much of anything. Especially considering that it is still a show about muscular men punching the crap out of things.
Yeah, of course. Again, that was the title of our last episode, was Muscular Men Punching Things.
What's that? I thought that was just a description of it.
It's a pretty accurate description, though.
No, I thought that was the thing in the description of last week's show, not like the actual title.
All right, it wasn't the description. The title of last week's show was Reaper of Loot. And regrettably, I didn't have much time to play, even during the bonus XP weekend last weekend for Diablo. Anyway, though, so yeah, you've been watching more Bleach, which is ridiculously large swords, and more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is more muscular men punching things
and making weird battle cries.
Yes, that too. I, on the other hand, have been watching all the feels.
All of them.
All of them. I mentioned last week that I was watching Kokoro Connect. I finished that this week. I thought the ending of the regular 13-episode series was a bit weak, but I still give it an 8 out of 10 overall. And then after the 13-episode series, there is a 4-episode sequel/conclusion OVA, but I haven't been able to find that. It's not on Crunchyroll, so I may have to find a download of it. But I do definitely want to find and watch that, because it wraps up some of the things that are kind of left open at the end of the regular season of the anime. But anyway, I do still recommend Kokoro Connect, and like I said, I still give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely still a good series. It's just that I thought the ending was a little bit rushed, a little bit weak maybe, but overall it's still a good series. I also mentioned last week that one of the series I would be watching this season was 1 Week Friends, and I started watching that, and I also started reading the manga. And the basic plot of it is that a girl in a Japanese high school class, her name is Fujimiya Kaori, she can't remember anything about people close to her, except for her family. She doesn't know why. Her family's an exception to that, but like her friends, people that she's close to, anything like that, she can't remember any of that for more than 1 week. Her memory resets, of all those things, resets every Monday. But one of her classmates, whose name is a boy named Haseyuki, he tries anyway. And the series...
'Cause why not?
Yeah. And that series it's just all the feels. It's all the feels, all the...
Diabetes.
It's this season's Wilfred Brimley killer.
So much diabetes.
Yes, all the feels.
Why can't I hold all this diabetes?
Yeah, it's like that. But it's a really good series. I'm very much enjoying it, but it's one that you do have to kind of take in measured amounts, because it would be kind of tough to watch a whole bunch of it at once, because it's tough. But again, it's a very good series, and that's on Crunchyroll. We'll have a link to it on there. And one more series that I started and have been watching is Golden Time. It's a romantic comedy / drama, mostly drama, but some comedy. And the main characters are freshmen who are entering a law school in Japan. It's kind of thought of as a spiritual successor to Toradora, which is one of my favorite series. They're both... Toradora and Golden Time are originally light novels written by Takemiya Yuyuko, who is a light novel author. And there are some staff members and some voice actors who are in or involved with the anime of both Toradora and Golden Time. So you can definitely tell some of the similarities while you're watching it. Like I said, it is mostly drama, so if that's not your thing, you might not like it, but it's definitely a good series so far. I'm definitely enjoying it. There just one kind of heads up. If you don't like having any spoilers at all about any of the possible romantic pairings that might happen in the series,
any possible shippings,
any shipping at all, if you like to stay away from that entirely, this is one series where you might want to not watch the opening animation. Because there are some series that use the opening animation to kind of enhance the romantic tension. They kind of use subtlety to
nudge it along.
Yeah, to nudge it along to enhance the experience with that.
Not judge.
Nisekoi is one series that does that. Toradora kind of does that. Golden Time is not one of those series. It is not subtle at all in...
Subtlety? What's subtlety?
It is not at all subtle in the opening animation about who like the main canon pairing in the series is. So if you don't like being spoiled on any of that, then...
Or if you don't care for it.
You probably won't like... then you probably won't like it, or you'd at least want to skip watching the opening credits. But it's still a good series. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm on, I think, episode 11 or 12, something like that, and it's a 23-episode series that just ended with the end of the winter anime season. So it's fairly recent, and it is also on Crunchyroll. So, again, we'll have a link to that in the show notes. We've got one item of anime news real quick. That this is probably going to be the last thing in this episode. We don't have a one more thing this week. But anyway, one item of anime news.
Oh, no more one more thing.
Oh, just not one this week. I didn't have time to find one. I couldn't really find a good one. But anyway, I've reviewed the series Non Biori on this show before. It's about a school in very rural Japan. And it's just a really slow-paced, extremely adorable, diabetes-inducing slice of life series. And it's going to be getting a second season. It was announced this past Sunday, April 6th, that sometime in the future there will be a Non Biori Season 2. We don't know yet when it's going to happen, but probably within the next few seasons or so would be my guess. Maybe this coming fall or winter anime season we'll be getting the second season of that. And we'll have a link to the news article in Crunchyroll, which has some of the pictures and promotional materials that were put out to announce and promote the upcoming second season of that. But I'm definitely excited about that. That's one of my favorite recent series from the past few seasons. It's a really good show. Again, though, don't watch it if you have a slow metabolism, because your heart will probably stop because it's so slow. Die. Yes, and don't watch it if you're
good for anyone.
And don't watch it if you're Wilford Brimley, because it will give you the
diabetes.
But it's still a really good series, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. And that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. If you want to find our show notes, which will have links to everything that we talked about in this episode, if you want to find the MP3 download of the episode, links to our Facebook page, our Twitter feed, our Google Plus page, links to subscribe to us via RSS or iTunes, you can find all of that on our website, which is lifeisleet.com. That's lifeisleet.com. I write this thing. I'm Jesse, so if anything in here is wrong, blame me. All the stuff that I do is at jbhanna.net or at jbhanna on Twitter. Aaron streams things every once in a while. When he does, we will post a link to it on our Facebook and Twitter page, so you can go check that out, or you can just subscribe to him directly at twitch.tv/Plato0. That's Plato and then the number 0. If you have any feedback, any comments, any suggestions, any audio attachments that you want us to play, any recommendations for anime or games or manga that you want us to consume and review, send all of that to us at podcast@lifeisleet.com. That's going to do it for this week. For me, for Aaron, thank you so much for listening, and everyone in the sound of my voice, take care.
Goodbye.